There's joy in New Orleans as the Saints moved into the Super Bowl. And instead of calling them the Aints, they're now the Saints. And in Indianapolis, the Indianapolis team did what it was expected to. With Peyton Manning, extraordinary quarterback. And fans are getting ready for the big matchup of Peyton versus Drew Brees. And the Colts came away with more than 24 straight points to beat the Jets 30-17. And the game that kind of broke all of our hearts was to see Brett Favre just get beat to pieces in yesterday's game.
I know. He's probably thinking, should I have come back from retirement?
He must be black and blue from last week, and now he did it again. And, you know, his wife and mother were in the stands, and you're looking in horror as he suffered. But anyhow, he had over 400 yards of offense, but they just kept fumbling and making mistakes, and that cost them. But that's, I'm sure people in Minnesota are not unhappy. You got to the finals.
Absolutely, and I know New Orleans, they're thrilled.
Ecstatic.
Come on, and good for them.
Ecstatic.
Good for them.
All right.
Well, also in the news, Pat, with health care running into serious problems, the White House is promising a sharper focus on jobs and the economy. Here's reporter John Jessup.
President Obama dispatched his top advisors to tell Americans he got the message loud and clear. From this point forward, the White House focus is the economy.
We have pulled it back from the brink of disaster. That was our first and primary goal. The president took some bold steps that were not necessarily popular, but that did stabilize the financial system.
His renewed economic focus is the political calculus of adding GOP Senator-elect Scott Brown to the equation. The Massachusetts win last week put an exclamation point on the fact that Americans are most concerned about the economy, not health care. This comes on top of growing concerns about the increasing size of the federal deficit. Democrats are proposing to raise the debt limit by another $1.9 trillion. That would grow the national debt to $14.3 trillion, roughly the size of the entire economy. Meanwhile, the president is now backing legislation that would create an independent commission with the power to force Congress to vote on major deficit reduction steps this year. The move is widely seen as a way to win over fiscal moderates, and already some Republicans are saying, not a chance.
We're not going to have bipartisanship as long as the Democrats are moving towards just more spending and debt.
Even if it did pass, the panel wouldn't begin its work until after the November elections. John Jessup, CBN News, Washington.
Well, it's bipartisan commission. The idea is to give the Democrats cover so that when they go into the election, they can say, well, look, we're bipartisan. Look at all these Republicans are on this commission. The Republicans shouldn't fall for that one because they're getting suckered into a trap. And I think wise heads are prevailing on this. But $14.3 trillion, how big does it get? How high does it get? And it's the most amazing thing. They gave everything they had to this health care bill that Americans hated, and now all of a sudden we're looking at jobs. We're concerned about jobs. The problem is there are hardly any people in the Obama administration who have any private sector experience. They don't know how to create jobs. All they know how to do is throw money at problems, and that doesn't necessarily solve them. Lee Webb has the rest of our top stories from the CBN Newsroom. Lee?
Pat, Haiti's government is hoping to find shelter for the estimated 600,000 people huddled in the open areas of Port-au-Prince. More than 2 weeks following the devastating earthquake there, many are still sleeping in the streets. As George Thomas reports, they have nowhere else to go.
Selani Youssef has to move fast. Well, as fast as her age will allow her to. As the sun dips over her destroyed city of Port-au-Prince, Selani is getting ready for the night. She begins by staking out her plot. She's sleeping tonight at the intersection of Makojou and Ferez Road. Why are you here on the street?
Because this is the only place that I could find that's close to my destroyed home.
Selani is among the tens of thousands of people who have thrown up makeshift shelters like this one across the city. More than 320 camps have sprung up in Haiti's capital and its suburbs since the earthquake. But this sleeping arrangement is unique in that thousands of people are literally sleeping on the road, and in some cases, the middle of the road.
And it's not just at this intersection. In fact, all down this street, as far as the eye can see in this direction, as well as that direction. At each major intersection, hundreds of people are getting ready to go to bed.
It is hard on my back, sleeping on this concrete, but what other option do I have?
Life on the street is busy. Women are preparing dinner, kids are doing their homework. During the day, residents leave to go look for work or food. At night, the streets begin to fill up.
Do you know the person who sleeps to the left and to the right of you?
My children and grandchildren sleep with me. Then there are strangers who have all lost their homes that sleep around us.
But let's be clear, nobody likes living here. It's hot and uncomfortable. It smells. Just look around. There's trash everywhere, sewage water running down the road, hanging electrical wires, exhaust fumes from passing cars, chicken, dogs. The list goes on.
The air is so bad, there's so much noise, it's very hard to sleep.
Those who are sleeping here tonight share one thing in common. Almost all have lost loved ones in the earthquake, and so these intersections are places of healing.
We get together at night to sing and pray, and that helps.
No one here is talking about going home anytime soon. There have been several big aftershocks in recent days, keeping everyone here on edge. Still, in some corners of the city, grocery stores are starting to reopen, and there's been talk of moving some 400,000 people made homeless by the quake to new housing accommodations on the outskirts of the city. Until then, Salani will be back here tomorrow evening again, preparing her bed at the intersection of Makorju and Ferez.
When you go to bed at night, what do you ask God?
I ask him to watch over me while I'm sleeping on the road, to protect me and keep me. I know he does.
George Thomas, CBN News, Port-au-Prince.
Resilient people there. The U.S. Navy is rushing relief supplies to Haiti and providing medical assistance for quake victims on board ships. As Chuck Holton reports, the Navy is also transporting vital help from Operation Blessing.
As the men of the 22nd Marine Expeditionary Unit went ashore in Haiti to assist with relief and recovery, the sailors on the USS Baton have stayed busy keeping the pipeline of aid flowing into the country. When the Marines find someone in need of urgent medical care, they can be given a short helicopter ride to the Baton's fully stocked hospital for treatment. The medical staff aboard the ship has been working overtime for the past few days, caring for dozens of locals injured in the quake. Joaquin Jason is a Creole-speaking Marine who volunteered for this mission.
The first thing I tell them, hey, do you know you're on a boat? And they are shocked and surprised, and to hear that they are on a boat. I mean, a patient told me that it's a grace of God that sent us down here to help.
This is Wilson, the Baton's miracle baby. Whoop. When they first found Wilson, he was so sick that they didn't think he was going to survive. But as you can tell, he's doing quite a bit better now. Aren't you, buddy?
When I grabbed little Wilson, he was lifeless. In fact, nightfall had came upon us, and I wasn't even sure if he was breathing, so I was calling for flashlights. He was really dehydrated. He hadn't eaten in 7 days, malnourished, and probably the water and stuff that they was drinking, it wasn't good. We don't trust any of the water source right now. It's all contaminated. But they survived on what they had to survive with.
But it's even more critical now that the country's infrastructure has been all but wiped out. While little Wilson was recuperating in the Baton sickbay, another ship arrived from Newport News, Virginia. It pulled alongside and began transferring even more relief supplies into her cargo hold.
This is called the replenishment at sea. The helicopters are now picking up each pallet and moving them from one ship to the other.
Among them, 10 large water filtration units supplied by Operation Blessing.
These units were purchased by Operation Blessing specifically for the people of Haiti. These particular units produce 10,000 gallons of potable or drinking water, fresh water, each day.
In addition to the water filters, OB supplied more than 200 pallets of baby food and bottled water so that hopefully the other Wilsons out there can have the food and water they need without taking a helicopter ride. Chuck Holton, CBN News, in Haiti on the USS Baton.
Pat, I believe Wilson wanted Chuck to hold that bottle for him.
I think he did. He wanted a little more service than Chuck was willing to give him. Well, now we have those 10 water purification plants should be up and running today, I would think. They go ashore today in any event. Operation Blessing is providing clean water right now to the National Stadium. Thousands of people there getting water, and we have transported an entire C-130 load of medicine to Haiti's largest hospital. Millions of dollars worth of medicine facilitated by Operation Blessing. So we're there to help these poor people